Well, I think let's go ahead and get started, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today for our April Salon Owners Roundtable. I am very excited. My name is Stevie Woodward. I work here at Aura Salon Wear, and I'm so excited to share this topic with you guys today. So we have Stephanie, who is the co-founder of Beauty as a Business, which is a digital social media marketing content curriculum. And, I look at this and I think, what a great thing. So, a little bit of the story of how that was created for Beauty as a Business from what Stephanie has told me is that it was born out of this need, to have more education surrounding social media marketing. I know there's a huge area of opportunity. Many owners and hairdressers, much like myself, that, went to beauty school before social media was what it is today. I remember MySpace was still a thing when I was in beauty school, and Facebook was kind of starting, but it definitely was not where it is today. And now we have, Instagram, Snapchat, TikToks. We've got all these things that are wonderful tools for our hairdressers to not only display their work as a marketing tool, but also consumers, we're seeing them come to these platforms so that they can shop and choose their salon or their hairdresser based off of what they see at a glance on their social media. So I think it's such a wonderful thing now that this content was born out of that need, but now it's also being delivered in beauty schools. And what an advantage that next generation of hairdresser is going to have by being set up for success with these business tools right out of the gate. So I am so excited to have Stephanie here today to share a little bit more about her curriculum and some really good best practices that anyone can start putting into place when it comes to managing their social media marketing. So there's a couple different topics that we're going to discuss today. The rise of the short form video, tools and set up for social success, Instagram fundamentals, Google Business Suite, and then we're going to open everything up for us to be able to have a really good discussion and answer any questions that may arise and see how we can really start and really help support implementing some best practices when it comes to managing your social media. So, Stephanie, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and share your story from your side to our guests that are here today?
Yes. Let me pull up my slides really quick. So thank you so much, Stevie. Thank you everyone for being here today and for the opportunity to share some of my knowledge. Like Stevie mentioned, so by day, I joke, by day, I am the COO of Oozle Media, which is a digital marketing agency that works with hundreds of beauty schools around the nation. And when we were doing work for these beauty schools, helping them manage their social media, running ads, getting them set up on Google, and they started coming to us and saying, hey, we really need this information for our students. Like we are seeing the success that industry professionals are having who understand how to use these tools. We're required to teach some business fundamentals, and also we want them to succeed after school. And so we started flying out and teaching this curriculum in person, and it just got kind of crazy, the demand for it. And so we ended up recording a digital course, partnering with, I don't know if you guys remember these names from back in the day, but Milady and Pivot Point. And so we have a social media marketing curriculum that is being taught in beauty schools around the country. We even just had a school in Australia approach us. So we're looking to go international, and we're very excited there. But today I really wanted to kind of condense down some of the biggest stuff that we teach, and also the things that I get a ton of questions about, and just share, with you guys as salon owners, some of the basic social media stuff I think you can do to attract more foot traffic into your salons, help you build your revenue, build your books of business. So the first thing I always like to start with is this mantra of just keep calm and do good marketing. There's a lot of marketing info, and frankly, there's a lot that you can do on marketing. That's why you can have an entire business where all we do all day is marketing for, beauty schools. And we even work with salons as well. We do a lot of social media ads for salons. We do a lot of emails for salons. And so, kind of where I want to anchor you as an owner is there are things that, yes, you can do yourself and you can do in-house with your team and the stylists that work at your salon. It is also okay if you're not doing all the things. And I also think it's okay if you outsource some of the things. So again, I've been pleasantly surprised at how many salons are starting to outsource their social media ads, because this is a true story. We just spent 3 weeks training somebody in a salon. The salon owner paid for a woman in her salon to get trained by our team on how to run social media ads. And right when we were wrapping up that training, that woman ended up quitting. And I know that that was a painful thing for the salon owner, because she had just invested a good chunk of money to get this woman basically trained and in a new skill set. And we just said, you know what? This is a tough thing, but we can run your social ads for you. And what you end up paying us in a monthly retainer is cheaper than probably what you would end up paying for someone's salary to do this anyway. And so I just like to remind people, like, you will feel the pressure of marketing. There's a lot to marketing. There's some things I think people should do in-house. I don't think not doing all the things is what's going to make or break your business. And I also highly recommend getting a way to delegate or outsource some of this stuff so you don't feel that pressure. So with that being said, and that kind of being the foundation and the mindset that I want you to be in as we go through this presentation, let's jump in and start with the thing that everybody asks me about. It's the first question that comes up in any open Q&A. It's the thing that we're adding to our curriculum this year, and that is the rise of short form video. And what I mean by short form video is TikTok and Instagram Reels. And so what I want to say here is the thing that I have noticed, and the thing that I think is like catching a lot of people, maybe not off guard, but I think they're kind of the reason why there's some panic or anxiety around this, is that things are clearly moving faster. So I've also been around long enough to remember MySpace and then Facebook and Instagram. And I was working in the digital marketing world at this time as well. And I think that there are a lot of people who remember how long it took an older demographic to even adopt Facebook, and then for that older demographic to then get on Instagram. And I would say that that is happening in a much shorter time frame on TikTok. Like, I have been pleasantly surprised now that we are starting to run a lot of TikTok ads for our clients at the agency. There is a wider range and a larger audience than maybe people anticipate for people who are older than 25 on TikTok. And I think it's going to continue to evolve. Like, I think we're in a world where people are comfortable with social media. It doesn't feel as scary or as weird to adopt a new platform. And social media platform migration is kind of the natural ebb and flow of things. I mean, we saw Facebook definitely try and get out ahead of this by just buying Instagram, right? That's how they sort of tackled the migration from Facebook to Instagram, is they just bought Instagram, incorporated it into its world. And then we also see that where, Instagram has introduced Reels, which was basically their feature answer to TikTok and the rise of TikTok. And I think this is just going to continue to happen. We've also seen some pretty big swings and misses. I know that during the pandemic, Clubhouse tried to get a lot of buzz with like an invitation only and, an audio focused sort of community, social media background or social media platform. I think there's going to be a few more of those too that feel like they try and come up and maybe it's a swing and a miss. And then there are going to be platforms that prove themselves out, like TikTok, where it's like, hey, you know what? Enough mass adoption has happened that this platform really isn't going anywhere. And so we need to pay attention to it. So since this is the thing that I'm getting tons of questions about, I figure we would start here. Let me move to my next slide. Okay, so this is TikTok's advice to small business owners who are getting on TikTok. And really my favorite slogan that TikTok has, and in when we've worked with them as a marketing agency, is basically their whole thing is don't make ads, make TikToks. And so, they're really telling people the best thing you can do is to understand the platform, understand what kind of content is being made, and then apply that to the story that you're trying to share as a business. So again, according to TikTok, they're saying, look, 75% of the people who open up TikTok come to be entertained. The other 25%, I'm assuming, are maybe like me, where they're coming to do research, or they're coming to analyze it as a marketer or as a business person, understand what's going on. But a lot of people are just like passively consuming TikTok. They expect to be entertained, or they're just going to swipe up to the next video. The other thing that I know causes a lot of anxiety around this platform is the whole like getting in front of the camera, understanding how to edit videos. It just feels like this whole new realm of social media where, we used to, I think we kind of took it for granted that posting a picture was not that hard. And I remember when people had a lot of anxiety over like, oh my gosh, I have to post to Instagram. Well, now it's like, shoot, we're at another level. I'm expected to make a mini Hollywood film. And the other thing that's going on that we're seeing is that there is a lot of content expectations, and it's expected to happen frequently. So, to grow on Reels and on TikTok, we're seeing that people need to be posting weekly at the very least, if not daily, to try and build up traction and build up an audience and start to really see the benefits of this. And then, of course, there's a lot more demands now in terms of when you're making video, versus taking a great photo. Now we have to start thinking about audio on top of the lighting and the quality and like the high resolution aspect of the images. So I want to give you some ideas for content that you can be creating. Everybody loves a great before and after. And as a salon, you have a great opportunity to make sure that you're capturing transformation, which makes for an awesome video. And TikTok has tons of audio that plays right into that. Reviews, anything behind the scenes, like life at the salon, what it's like to be a hairstylist, a beauty haul. So going through products, showing people what you're buying, what you're investing in. This is all great content. The really good news is Instagram and TikTok, beauty is consistently in the top 10 topics that people consume on these platforms. So right away, you're set up for content success just by nature of the industry that you're in. And then any how-tos, always popular, always going to be a thing where people are like, just show me how to do a great hairstyle, a great makeup tip, anything like that. People love the little tips and tricks that they can do at home. So let's talk a little bit about if you want to post to TikTok and then move it to Reels, because there's a lot of, again, this anxiety of like, oh my gosh, so I have to be posting to Instagram. I still want to post to Facebook. I still want to get on TikTok, and I've got Instagram Reels. Like, what do I need to be doing here? I do think that the videos that you make for TikTok can translate to Reels. You just have to understand that if you have the TikTok watermark on those videos, Instagram will downgrade them in their algorithm for obvious reasons. I mean, they don't want to promote TikTok on their platform. But there are tools like snaptik.com where you can remove the watermark so that you can download the TikTok you just made, remove the watermark, upload it to your Instagram Reels, and feel a little bit better that you just had to make video for one platform, but you got to share it on both. Doing it the other way. So Reels also have a watermark. They're not as noticeable when you post them to TikTok, but the thing that is harder about downloading a Reel and moving it to TikTok is they don't download with the sound. So you can download the video, but you're going to have to find the sound again on TikTok and then post it. The other thing though that I like about Reels is, of course, again, because they're owned by Facebook, you have the cross-pollination of being easily shareable to Facebook as well. So just some things to think about and keep in mind. So real quick, I wanted to pause here and see if there are any questions. That's kind of all I'm going to get into about TikTok today and short form video. So I just wanted to pause really quick and see if anyone has any questions that they wanted me to jump in and answer really quick before we start getting more into like the Instagram tools and fundamentals and things like that.
Stephanie, I don't see any questions in the chat right now, but I kind of have a question. I definitely would say I fall into that category of I took a little bit longer to get on Instagram, from Facebook. And I still, if you look, most of my stuff is on Facebook. I moved much quicker from Instagram to TikTok. And it's so true what you said about, that movement from one platform to the other, as well as, a lot of what you'd mentioned when it comes to the entertainment or the how-tos. I was thinking about, my activity as a consumer, and it all really aligns. Some of my favorite people that I follow are the ones that I can just sit there and I can giggle. I can get a good giggle session out of it, or I can learn something new. I do go on actually and I'll search things like, best under eye serum, or, best lotion for wrinkle, all those little kind of product recommendations. So I think all of those are right on the head. One thing that I was curious about, because I do remember the days of, planning your marketing out on social media via Facebook. And you mentioned, it's ideal to make sure you're getting this content loaded weekly, if not at least daily. And for me, the question that popped into my head was, I remember Facebook used to have a timing where you would, have a window of when do you want to post that content. And it was typically at key, scrolling times of day to make sure it hit at the right time to get the most views. Now, with your Reels and with your TikToks, is that timing piece as important as the weekly, daily piece, or have we moved away from that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I do believe there is still a component of that. I would say probably more with Reels than with TikTok. TikTok is a platform which is really interesting. A lot of people and a lot of younger folks who have aspirations of being influencers, one of the reasons why they're a big proponent and big advocates for TikTok is it's the platform that is supposedly the easiest to go viral on. And a lot of people attribute that to TikTok's algorithm really deeply understanding the content that you're making and serving it to the right audience. It's like they are just very, very good at knowing what people like, who you are, what you want to see, what's going to resonate with you, and what the users as a whole on TikTok are going to like. And so with TikTok, what I've heard is if you're planning on sort of staking your flag on that hill, and that is the platform where you are going to build your community from. Right now, the frequency is more important because TikTok is still trying to beat out Instagram and Facebook. It is super popular. There is a migration happening, but also like Facebook and Instagram are really big giants to beat. And they also have WhatsApp in their family, in that metaverse, in that whole Meta company as well. So right now, I do think TikTok is looking for a lot of content, a lot of frequently, and trying to reward people for that. Now, when you have a business account on TikTok, you can see things like the analytics of when your followers are on, when they're most likely to be watching videos, and you could definitely time your posting to that. You can do the same thing on Instagram and Facebook, like that's still an option there. But I do think if I was a salon right now, I definitely would be focused on how can we make sure we're creating video content, and like I said, getting that at least once a week on Instagram Reels and TikTok. But I wouldn't necessarily make TikTok my home base. And the reason why is because TikTok is still playing to a national, even international platform. So it's very hard, even if you got 1 million views on one of your salon videos on TikTok, the likelihood that a large portion of that audience is actually going to be able to come and visit your salon is pretty slim. Whereas like Instagram and Facebook still have evolved to build in more of a local aspect to help small local businesses. And so I think TikTok is going to get there. I do think they're going to figure it out. I mean, they have incentive to figure it out, because that's why you would want to do something like buy TikTok ads, but right now, I think the businesses that are benefiting the most from TikTok are like e-commerce brands, because anyone can buy from them. Anyone can go to their website and get something. And I do think there's still a little bit of work that needs to be done to help smaller local businesses and making sure that they're getting foot traffic into where they want to be. So
Gotcha.
I guess I kind of swung left here there, but I want to be so caught up in trying to time the analytics, because I just don't think, I think there's other aspects of TikTok that have not evolved yet to fully help small local businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's very helpful to know, because that analytic piece, I think, is something that is so important, yet your average consumer or small business owner probably doesn't speak that language very well. So yeah, thanks. I love that pivot left there. I think it was very impactful.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's get into a checklist. This says school, replace anywhere you see school with salon. But basically, I think this is honestly, I mean, we could change school with small local business. This is a checklist that I think is really important. So the first thing is, do you have optimized and active social media accounts? And what I mean by optimized is like, is all the information correct? I cannot tell you how many times we have looked at a salon or a beauty school and they're like, oh yeah, we have Facebook or we have Instagram, and we start going through it with a fine-tooth comb and we're like, hey, this phone number doesn't work, or this email address that you have linked here, it has a bounce back, or it's clear that this is not an active email address anymore. Is your address right? Is your phone number right? These things actually become important for Google, not just social media, because Google does reference things like Facebook to verify that information about a business is correct. And the more correct and consistent your business information is across social media, the more that Google basically like gives you points for also having correct information. So there's some additional incentive there to make sure they're optimized, you're leveraging all the opportunity you can to share business information, your hours, your opening dates that you're closed, your services, your menus. Like there are so many cool features built out, especially more so on like Facebook, where you just want to make sure that that's available and that you're taking advantage of those. A branded hashtag. This is also something where like I do suggest salons take control of their branding and make sure, and we'll talk about this at other points in the presentation as well, but make sure you've got posters or clings or just things where it's very obvious on your accounts. Like, hey, if you're a client of ours, if you are posting any content, if you work at my salon, this is the hashtag that I want you to be using. The hashtags are still a key search function on social media, and it's really helpful if you can get consistency there. Social media guidelines. This says for students and teachers, but for salon owners, I'm going to say social media guidelines for anyone who works in your salon is key. For your stylist, for your front desk person, anyone who's in the building, and again, potentially creating content, just have some basic things. I mean, you would be surprised at how much I see actually beauty schools struggle with this, where their students are posting kind of like questionable content and then they're tagging the school for some reason, or they're putting a hashtag. It's really silly things like maybe they took a really sexy selfie and they're just tagging where they took the selfie, or they're doing something stupid like flipping off the camera and making jokes, but they're tagging the school or the salon in it. Just have some basic guidelines that you can hold people accountable to, that you are comfortable with, and that you make sure represent your business and the way that you want to be represented. Like I said, miracling signs that encourage social media posting and remind people what hashtags to use and to tag your salon. Again, anywhere you see school, change that out with salon. Somebody who is monitoring and engaging with your social media accounts is also really important. I say the best defense is a good offense. When people remember that you are actively watching those accounts, they're going to think twice before they post something questionable. This can also be really helpful if you have a client who has negative things to say about your salon. Like, if you can catch that early and manage that fire before it turns into this giant PR nightmare that you didn't even know was happening, or that you didn't even know was showing up on your hashtag or on your tagged area of your account, a lot of that heartache, a lot of that headache can be prevented by just making sure you're checking either once a day or every other day, what's going on my hashtag? What am I getting tagged in? What are other people saying about us that I just want to be aware of? Again, using spotlights, contests, and rewards for staff to reward great social media content or to encourage it. That helps so that you're not feeling like creating all the content is on your shoulders, or that you're the only one who has to do that, because it is a lot to create content. And then incentives for your guests to post about their experience and to tag the salon. User generated content is really powerful. It's an endorsement, it's a testimonial, it's marketing content, it's somebody else talking positively about your salon. And so the more that you can encourage that, the more benefits you will reap from that. And then, what I believe is there's got to be owners out there, salon owners, you guys as a group advocating for the importance of social media and helping stylists and the people who work at your salon understand that if all of us are working on this, if we're taking a little time to make this a priority, it is going to benefit the bottom line. There is a real lift in the money you will make if you are being active on social media. And then, of course, I do think a social media curriculum is important. Our BAB courses are available to individual stylists. We don't just do them at school. And I think that it's a tool and something that, again, stylists didn't get to, there's a whole group of people who didn't get to learn this while they were in beauty school. And I think that they should go back and know how to do social media marketing. And again, it's going to have a real impact on the money and the foot traffic in your salon. And then the other one, kind of the last checklist item that's a bonus for me, is a place to keep track of your logins and passwords and who has access to this account. Because again, I've seen some really nightmare situations where disgruntled staff have full access to the Facebook and the Instagram account, and now that business can't run ads, or they can't get control of something that should be theirs and that they've spent years building, and the keys to the kingdom are gone. So please make sure that you know your passwords, that you track who has access to the accounts, and that you make sure that the only people who have, again, the keys to the kingdom are the people that you trust and the people that you want to have that. And I'm just going to make sure, I wanted to touch on this one. I forgot to go over it, but I do think having an Instagram worthy spot for pictures is a great way to incentivize people to create content. So an Instagram worthy spot, this is something that has great natural lighting. So make sure that it's facing, or the windows, the person would be facing into the window, so the natural light is hitting them. Natural light is the best light for creating content. If you don't have natural light, make sure you get ring lights. Make sure that they have a way to hold their phone. And then again, with the rise of audio, you might need to get some lav mics. And just making these tools accessible and teaching your stylists, your staff, how to use them again, is one of the best things you can do to create the incentive to just be making this content. So another thing that I wanted to talk about, and let me just make sure that I have this right here. Okay, yeah, is a social media calendar. This is something that I think is really helpful for salons, and again, alleviates that anxiety of like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be posting on social media, but I don't know what to post. And this calendar should just be a rough outline of content that you know that you want to make. I do recommend you do it at least 1 month in advance, if not plan it out for the year, of like, take a note of certain holidays, times when you're going to have sales. I cannot tell you how many people know every year they are going to have Black Friday specials, and they wait until the week before Black Friday to start talking about these sales. And social media is accessible to every small local business. So you are not just competing with other salons, you are competing for the dollars of anyone in your local area with any other small local business that is also taking advantage of these platforms. So I do think, we're just in a day and age where, yes, I would say most businesses with a revenue of over $1 million are usually paying for somebody to run their social media ads. And also, like, they are on top of this. They are thinking about Black Friday in, August or July, and they know what sales they're going to do, and they know what content they're going to post. So I think the more that you can pre-plan and give yourself some idea of what you're going to need, the better you're going to feel. The 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule is, again, just a reminder that the vast majority of your content should be entertaining, educational, non-promotional. And then you have the opportunity in sort of this 20 to 10% ratio to do the straight up like sales content and promotional content. And so what does that look like? I mean, basically, we're trying to build a funnel. We're trying to bring people in who don't know about our salon and move them from awareness to consideration to actually conversion and spending money with us. So to pull people in, we got to have the shiny, fun things that are like, hey, I know you were going down this path. I want you to take a detour and come check out what I have. So these are memes and motivational quotes, quizzes, listicles, like kind of the BuzzFeed type stuff that we all love to click on, where it's like, what cat type are you? Or like, read these 10 trends that are coming up for summer 2022. Before and afters. These are all things that just kind of catch people's eyes, and they're like, oh, I'll go down this rabbit hole, or this looks entertaining, I'm going to go down here. And then, oops, my slide did not. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Okay. So, and then the next thing we want to be doing is for people who are in research and consideration. So we've pulled them in with something fun. Now we want to hit them with some social proof, testimonials from clients who have had an amazing experience. Again, this is where client generated content does some really heavy lifting for you. This is the social proof that coming to your salon is the right choice, that they should be spending their dollars with you. Helpful tips, giving yourself credibility, talking about how long you've been in the community, any awards that your salon has won. This is the place where you tell people like, hey, I'm a really good choice if you're thinking about getting a service done, and here's why. And then pulling the trigger, getting them to actually make the decision to book, come in. This is where, again, we talk about that 10 to 20% of your content should be focused on conversion, which is like a book now, your sales and discounts, your sense of urgency, like, hey, we only have 2 spots left for this week, get in. And again, the hard sales pitch of, we are now taking new clients, or we now are offering this, come see us or book to learn more. So we do have a social media content calendar template that if you go to beautyisabusiness.com/social-calendar-worksheet, there's a little calendar there to help you start sketching out ideas. Again, I would pay attention to like, what are the things you know are going to happen every year that you want to take advantage of? What are the holidays that are beauty related that you want to lean into? You know, if you get a ton of people who always book for your salon for prom, when are you going to start posting about prom? Probably you need to start in like February and March if proms are happening in April and May. You know, family photos around the holidays. Everyone wants to look their best for those. So again, when do we need to start talking about the seasonal things that we know are happening every year? What are the things that you're just like, okay, I don't need to plan every single week, but these are the milestones that I definitely don't want to miss out on. Okay, so I want to take a quick break here because that's a lot of information. Is there any question about the tools, the setups, the checklist, the social media content calendar? We good?
Yeah, Stephanie, I think that we are good. I think one question that may come up, and I don't know if salons would have this on the top of their mind, but when we talk about tools, you know, things like ring lights, or, you know, background, when we think about things like ring lights, you know, I know that some of them can be quite expensive and some of them can be a little bit more on the cost effective side. Right. So, you know, what would your best recommendation when it comes to finding how do we work this into our budget, but also when it comes to space? If I've got a smaller salon space, what are some recommendations of how I could make these things happen while being mindful of my limited square footage in certain situations?
Yeah, totally. Great question. So, I mean, honestly, I always recommend to people like go to Amazon, go find the ring light that has the most reviews, the best reviews, you know, something that's not going to, you really don't need something that's going to break the bank. I also, again, think utilize the natural light. I think ring lights are more important if you're doing like maybe some makeup stuff, some nail stuff, like things that are super up close. For hair, I've seen natural light work perfectly and very like people don't even need ring lights. In fact, I've seen more salons ask about tripods because they want something else holding the phone. And that's where, again, I'm like, hey, when we build camaraderie with each other, when we tackle this as a team, there's nothing I like more than to see salon teams working to help each other create content. Like, hey, can you hold and film this for me while I do this little section of someone's hair because I'm stitching these together for the transformation. So, you know, I think a lav mic, you really only need that if you plan on really like talking through a situation or explaining things. A lot of people just use like the audio that's like a music background and then they write the words on the video. So again, I think it kind of comes down to what are your goals? You don't have to do everything today. Start somewhere. And when you realize like, oh, hey, I do want to talk about how to do things and my audio doesn't sound great without a mic, that's the time to buy a mic. The time to buy a mic isn't, oh, I'm going to buy a mic and then I'm going to make this content, because you will have every good intention and then you won't do it. So prove to yourself first, like, this is what I'm realistically going to do. And in doing this, what have I noticed are my pain points, and then get tools that match those pain points.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said go to Amazon and read the reviews, because I think that's so, it speaks so loudly to that, you know, that user generated content. Because if we think about the way that we do shop as, you know, as consumers, the first thing I do when I go to Amazon is I go look for the one with the lowest price and the best reviews. And then I go read through those reviews, you know, because it's so true. I value that feedback of the people who've actually bought, used, you know, and used this product sometimes so much more than what the actual company is saying. You know, every company wants their product to be the best one. So it's, you know, it really does, it does speak to that there a lot. Now, when it comes to So you also said something that really resonated with me, and I could see this as maybe, circling back to that, don't let this be the cause of stress or anxiety. But I can see it being that anxiety piece for this, for a business owner. And it was the planning. We want to make sure that we're doing it before we're investing into that. So I know you've got your content creator calendar, but what would you, just in your opinion, what would be, if we were to say, a small step to take to start implementing this, what would that small step be? Would it be, making sure we're posting weekly, or would it be just getting our accounts in order? Or, if I was to take that one small step, to move me in the right direction, what are your thoughts for the people that may feel overwhelmed about the idea of implementing some of this into their business best practices?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on where you're at as a business. So there's like this hierarchy of needs. So the first small step to take is, if you don't know your logins, your passwords, if you don't know if your accounts are optimized, that is the first place you should start and take control. Is like, hey, I need to make sure that my house is in order and that I have the keys to the kingdom in the first place. And then if you do have that and you're like, no, we've got access, we're posting, I think again, posting once a week, or even like saying, what I want to do is post, and we'll get into this in the next section a little bit more, but what I tell people is, like, on Instagram, can you make a grid in 1 month? So that's 9 posts to make a full grid on Instagram. So that equals to about like 2-ish posts a week. If I can do 2 posts a week, then I'm making a full grid in a month. Or what I really want to, if you're already doing that or you feel good about that, it's like, are you doing stories? And then are you doing reels? And actually, like, because reels can post to your Instagram profile, again, I think reels and like Instagram and TikTok are just really pushing this agenda of like, if you make videos and let that be your content, they are more willing to get that in front of people than just regular photos, because videos are the things that entertain people. And I think that's a really great segue into this next section, which is where we're going to go over like the basics of your Instagram account. So let's start with your name and handle. These are the only things considered by Instagram search. So keep them simple, keep them memorable. Do a practice search. If you tell people this is my handle or this is my name, how easy is it for people to find you on Instagram who have like no connection to you? The next one is your bio. So, what is your mission? What keywords do you want to use in your bio that your salon, that really define your salon, who you are, who you serve, what you guys are the best at? Making sure you're taking advantage of the buttons. There's a book now button, there's contact us, there's message, there's email, there's phone number. What information do you need to make sure is easily accessible? I tell people you really should think about your Instagram account like a second website. So all the information that you have on your website, where does that also live on your Instagram account? Again, the thing we talked about before, making sure your hashtag is there. You have one link on Instagram, use it well, be thoughtful about where you're sending people. I would suggest that you make sure that your account is a business account. This is what allows you access to like buttons for booking appointments and to see analytics and to be able to do things like run ads. Your pinned highlights actually become pretty important because, again, if you're thinking about your Instagram account like a mini website, these pinned highlights become like the navigation bar. It's like, what information am I trying to find out about you? What is most important to me? And make it quick and easy for me to jump in and get the information that I'm looking for. So for your pinned highlights, like some of the suggestions, you could have customer selfies and reviews. You can have an about section. a pinned highlight for specials and promotions. Just make sure that you're deleting things that are out of date and updating with new ones. I've seen people put their menus in the pinned highlight so people can scroll through and see pricing, just really good content on there. So again, think about those pinned highlights as the navigation bar to your website. In creating pictures, we want to remember that good lighting matters. Cool tones do better than warm tones. This is something that schools have a hard time with. They have really terrible fluorescent lights and everything ends up looking like orange or red, and it just doesn't look great. Make sure that your picture has like one dominant subject. Like, what is the thing I'm supposed to be looking at in this picture so I don't get distracted by a bunch of other stuff. Keep them high quality. Overly filtered stuff tends to not get a lot of good interaction. And then again, just be thoughtful about the composition of your photo. This is where I really live. Like, the one takeaway for photos for me is less is more. So clean backgrounds. Again, what am I focusing on? Does it look pretty? And then we're good to go, usually, if we've met those requirements. Your checklist for captions. Again, don't always be selling. That's that 80-20, 90-10 ratio we talked about. How can you add value? How can you tell a story, have fun? And also, like I tell people, again, Instagram is kind of like a mini blog. A lot of people actually read longer captions. There's a lot of good research and data that shows longer captions get better engagement. If you look at this example here, really good use of spacing, emojis, just ways to make this fun to read and easy to read, so it's not just like a giant paragraph. And then the real thing for your overall Instagram account, the thing that you can tell makes some people successful on Instagram more successful than other people is an understanding of branding. And so I just really think that, like, as the owner of a salon, you need to know your brand and who you guys are and what you're about, and that needs to get translated into your social media. So branding is like, how do you want people to feel, and what should they expect, and what is going to be their experience when they come into your salon? And this is really everything about, like, again, why did you start this business? What are you about? What are your guys' values as a salon, and what do you focus on? Like, what is your mission? What is the thing that you're out there preaching to the world? And again, like, staking your claim on of, this is what's important and this is why I do this. And the way that we communicate our brand on social media is through colors, fonts, the style and aesthetic of our photos and our videos, and our voice through captions. So again, I can tell when somebody has brand knowledge because everything feels cohesive and it fits together. And I can also tell when a business hasn't thought about their branding, because even when they're like posting consistently, or even when they're putting out content consistently, it feels disjointed, or it feels like it's kind of all over the place. And like, you can have something over here with like bright colors and that's really loud, and then all of a sudden something super organic and natural and soft feeling. So again, I really think that as a salon owner, you've got to take the leadership of understanding what is your salon's brand, and is that being consistently communicated and shown on your social media accounts. Okay, so how many times a day should I post? Like I said, we recommend at least 2 times a week. Definitely, you can see here that the number of posts has been going down year over year. This is a lot because of the rise of stories, and also now we've added in reels and video. So I think you'll see posting like of just photos go down even more. And then when you do post, how do you get found? How do you make sure your content is out there? This is where, again, I think TikTok has to hone in a little bit more. But on Instagram, make sure your account's public. If you're not using a business account, again, I strongly recommend a business account. Make sure you're using location tags for your city, your state, your business location. Hashtags help you, again, find your local audience, people who are more likely to be able to come into your salon. And then, when you're ready, experiment with boosting and ads. Again, we've done, like I said, we just got done with a consulting project with a salon on ads, and now we're just running their ads for them. I also think collaborations are really important. So finding your local influencers, the mommy influencers, the health influencers, the fitness ones, whoever it is, all of them have hair, all of them have something, maybe an event that they want to look great for. How can you collaborate, get them into your salon, and then reach their audience that is local and highly relevant to you? And then don't forget to engage with people, right? Like, again, this is part of the monitoring. Looking and being active on social media does require that if you go check everything that's on your hashtag and what you're tagged in to make sure that there's nothing crazy there, you may as well be liking and commenting on any photo or any content that's there, to let the people who do care enough about your business to create this content, let them know that you're seeing it and that you appreciate it. Okay, so that was another big round of information. Any questions on this section about, the Instagram fundamentals before we jump into some quick Google stuff? No, good. Okay.
Nope, I'm not seeing any coming in so far. I feel like I personally love, make it like your second website, because I think, again, when we look at consumer behavior, they're popping from your website. They go to Google, they go hit your website, they hit your Instagram, and then suddenly they find themselves on your booking page. So having those different platforms, be cohesive is a really great way to help make sure you are capturing them, and then hopefully, ideally, in the end, they're booking, and you can also, even when it comes to that online booking through Aura, you can link your Instagram on your online booking page as well. So if they have not already shopped your Instagram, it gives them that, last minute ability to be able to shop that. And they can even link that to the specific providers that you have. So I'm really seeing a lot more and more, businesses have their own Instagrams, but stylists are also within that business having their own personal professional Instagrams as well. And we're seeing more and more, consumers shopping not just their salon, but their stylist as well. So going back to that social media guidelines, if that's something that your team is going to be doing, is having their own personal, pages that clients are going to, making sure there's some cohesive voice in branding and guidelines, again, between the business, but also the business's employees as well. I think that's just going to make you look that much more stronger in who you guys are when it comes to inviting guests into your space.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Okay, so we have just a few more minutes. I'm going to bust through this last part, but this is, I've talked about social media, but you cannot ignore Google, and you cannot ignore the power of reviews. So this is a salon that we worked with our Google review training. If you look back before they had the training, they were getting a little over 200 calls. I think that was a month. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in a month. They did have multiple locations. This big jump up to 500 is right after we did our first on-site training, where we trained all of their stylists on how to get and ask for Google reviews. And then over time, we just kept checking in and making sure they were doing it, and they continued to grow and succeed. I just think that, like, you cannot do enough for your salon. One of the most powerful things you can do for your salon is getting over 100 reviews, making sure that you're consistently getting reviews, and it will lift traffic to your website. you will see a bump in how many people are booking with you. And of course, what that ultimately will result in is your revenue growing for sure. So I just really think like people also seek out negative reviews. And if you've responded to them properly, that can actually benefit you as a salon. So just some quick tips, a quick tip for responding to negative reviews. The biggest rule for negative reviews is do not engage online. Do not turn this into like a spectacle where people are like, oh my gosh, like look at this back and forth. When somebody has a negative review, quickly respond, thank them for bringing up the feedback and the issue, and tell them that you would like to speak with them. At that point, give them a phone number or an email address. If they continue to respond online, just again, maybe one more time, gently remind them that you are more than open for a call. Here's my phone number. Here's my email address. If they continue to nitpick online, then I think you just stop, because when somebody else comes and reads that, what they'll do is they'll be like, okay, this person was ranting, raving. The salon gave them an option to contact and talk. They chose to continue to rant and rave online. Now this person is destroying their credibility because they look kind of crazy. They look like they're a troll, or that they're just trying to do this for the drama. So what I will say is, for those that do email you or contact you, take care of that guest. And then when they're happy, ask them to update their review. And we have seen this time and time again, where somebody had a negative experience, business took care of them. That person went back and said, you know what? I was really worried because I had a bad experience, but they ended up taking care of me. And that is the reason why that's so powerful, is that's why we go look for negative reviews. We want to know, if I'm going to spend my money with a business, what is the worst thing that could happen to me? And when they find that review and then somebody says, guess what? The worst thing happened to me and they still took care of me. That is a huge, huge boon in your favor, and like huge credibility for your business. The other thing that I'll say that people sometimes forget is you don't have to ask everyone for a review. Like the people who are visibly happy and who love your salon and who are loyal and who come back time and time again, those are the people you should be asking for reviews. You know, like I think sometimes we've had businesses get so caught up in like, oh, I need to ask for reviews. I need to ask for reviews. They've actually sort of harmed themselves by asking the wrong people for reviews. Cherry pick the people who you think are the best candidates. And, you know, I also advocate for some sort of tool where like we sell this through our agency, where it's like you can email people immediately afterwards and ask for their review. And Stevie, do you guys have something built into your software for reviews as well?
We do, yes. So we have, within our auto text message communications, we have it's kind of our social buddy / reputation manager. And so what that means is that it will send out an automatic thank you and review text message asking them about their experience. And if it's a 4 or 5 star review, it is automatically going to ask them if they would like to upload that to your social media, Facebook, as well as your Google, your Google account. To post it publicly. Now, if it's a 1, 2, or 3 star review, then it is going to thank them and immediately notify you that there has been a negative guest experience. And so that does give you that opportunity to, number one, just like you said, respond quickly, respond offline. And then 3, take care of that guest. Ideally what we want, just like you said, negative feedback, though we wish it would never happen, it does. And when it does happen, we want to know right away, and we want the opportunity to be able to turn that experience around and really take care of that guest. Also get in front of it and make sure, hey, let's have a session and discuss how do we make sure this doesn't happen to other guests? Is this something that's been going on that we maybe didn't know about? So it gives you both that opportunity to get that positivity out there very quickly on those platforms, but also mitigate and manage any negativity and turn that experience around for them, as well as keeping your team on track.
Awesome. And then, real quick, I know we're coming up on time. So again, just a reminder, we have courses that cover Instagram. We have courses for photography and video using your phone. We have courses on websites. These are all available to you for individual purchase or for any of your stylists. And those are available if you go to our website, which is beautyasabusiness.com. And then if you follow us on Instagram on Beauty as a Biz with a Z, we also post like updates on the latest social media news, tips and tricks, just a lot of good information there. That's a free resource to you as well. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you guys and share my knowledge. And Stevie, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, Stephanie. That was all such great information. And I love the way, it kind of breaks down into the different segments, and it makes it seem much easier when it comes to managing as well as implementing some of these best practices into your marketing if you are already doing some social media content and creation. Yeah, we are so excited that you were able to share this, and I think it's going to really help set salons up for success. So I don't have anything more for the day. We'll go ahead and just wrap it up. Thank you guys for being here, and we look forward to our next Salon Owners Roundtable. We'll see you next time, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.